Okay, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Javi Sanchez. I am a project coordinator for at NOED here at DSOBD. I want to welcome Dawn Covin. She is from Trusted Advisor, who will do a presentation on and walk participants through the process of a simple but effective planning tool for your business. Dawn, can you start your presentation? And I'm so sorry for that
No
brief.
problem. Thank you, Javi. Hi, everyone. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Can everyone see? I think I've lost my view. Okay, great. You can see. Great. Hi, thank you, Javi, for the introduction. As you mentioned, my name is Dawn Covin. I'm a wife and a mother of four daughters. I currently run a consulting practice that is called Kincove Partners, where we provide strategic planning, project management, and training and development. Trusted AdviseHER was created as a supporting organization or company for Kincove Partners. And it was through DSLBD and the Dream Pitch Program in 2022 that I was able to participate and place third in the pitch competition. And the proceeds from that grant really allowed me to invest in Trusted AdviseHER and began to build it as a brand. And so Trusted AdviseHER was started so that I could support small businesses, but specifically women-owned businesses women that had maybe taken a break from their careers and were looking to pursue entrepreneurship as an alternative to the traditional 9 to 5. And so I really want to thank DSLBD for this opportunity. I'm a CBE certified company, and I cannot say enough about the resources that I have received from DSLBD and the support in growing both of my businesses. And so today we're going to talk about a playbook and how to use it to develop a 1 year plan for your business. I also want to congratulate you all for just participating in these programs. I think that DC has a wealth of just initiatives for small business owners. I think it's a very friendly small business city, and I'm so happy to know that you all are taking advantage of these very excellent trainings. And so I'm a 90s hip hop girl, so if you know anything about thinking of a master plan, you kind of got that head nod there. But what we're going to be talking about today is strategy design and a planning workshop. And so you could think, I know you're just starting your business, but one of the reasons I think that this is a very important topic is that I know for myself, even as I'm continuing to grow and start my business, it's so easy to get off track. You know, it's so easy that if you're not focused on what your goals or objectives are, you could drift. You know, you could spend your days checking email. You could spend your days looking at LinkedIn. And so, what I have found to be helpful is to know each week kind of what my priorities are in my business. And my goal today is to help you to start thinking through what you can do in terms of creating a plan based on using a 1 page playbook. Does that sound all right? All right. So we have a short icebreaker, and then we'll have an overview of what the playbook is and how to use it. And then we'll talk through kind of not a whole year planning process, but what it would look like to take the elements from the playbook and convert that into a 1 year plan. And so I'm going to hopefully ask for a couple of volunteers that may be willing to just share some ideas. This is a very safe space. We are all, entrepreneurs, we're growing, and I hope that we can use this as an opportunity just to share ideas and grow and hopefully get some ideas that will help us to just move our businesses forward. You'll hear a lot of people talk about, a lot of times business owners spend time working um, in their business and not on their business. And I am reading and just trying to get as knowledgeable as I can in terms of what are best practices for business owners. And one book that I just finished, and it's called The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. And he talks about the importance of organizational health and basically how it trumps everything else. Like whether you could have amazing marketing, you could have the best product, but if your organization is not healthy, that's not what you're not going to be successful. And so I think even as solopreneurs, new business owners, if we can start with the mindset that it's important to have our internal capabilities tight, that we have our processes tight, that as we grow and scale our businesses, we'll be better prepared to succeed. So that's why I think this is an important topic, so that you can just spend some time just thinking about like how you want your business to move forward. So we're going to move into the icebreaker. I'm going to change screens for a second, actually. So here, you can access the icebreaker here. You can either scan the QR code, or you can go to this website, https://aha slides.com/L as in Larry, B as in boy, Y is in yellow, 9, and then E as in Edward. Everyone get that? Actually, it'll also come up on the screen. So once I hope everyone has a chance to either go to the link or scan the QR code. So while we're doing that, I'm going to go to that. All right. So this should be the question that comes up. All right, good. I see some people typing. So if you had to delete all the apps from your phone except for 3, which ones would you keep? So if you had to delete all the apps from your phone except for 3, which ones would you keep? Okay, I see email, texting. What else? Zelle, I know, I hear that. Texting, LinkedIn, Outlook. Any other ones? Chat GPT, okay. Instagram, okay. That's the first social media one I've seen. Oh, a Wave invoice system. Still get to see some comments coming in. Any more? Anyone willing to come off of mute and share why you selected the 3? Okay, wait a minute. We have a couple more coming. I see some people typing. Bank accounts, messages. Oh, Lena, I see you. Amazon. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that one. That is an important app. I want to give everyone a chance that wants to participate. I still see a couple people typing in, so I'll give you another minute or two. Okay, what else? Let's see if we see anything different. LinkedIn, messages, chat, Safari, Chat GPT, email too. All right, great. Okay, somebody want to come off of mute and tell me, share with us the 3 that you wanted to keep and why? Oh, FaceTime. That's a good one too. I didn't think about that. Okay, Javier, I'm not sure if you can unmute Belen. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Okay, a couple of folks are saying they can't unmute. You hear me?
Okay.
Okay, I can hear someone now.
Go ahead, Billin.
Okay, there it is. If you double click it, then it'll lock the mute. Hi, my name is Balin.
Hi, Balin.
And hi. I chose to keep Safari, text messaging, and FaceTime only because on the internet platform, there's a lot that you can do online, which you don't really even need the application. You could still text online, but I prefer just using the app because it's easier. And then FaceTime, you can do that over the web as well,
Yes.
but I just find it more easy just using that app. But I definitely wanted to keep Safari.
Good. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. I didn't even think about that. You guys are giving me ideas. I didn't even think about some of these. Anyone else want to share why you picked the 3 that you picked to keep?
Yeah, I chose Chat GBT because I pay for it and
Yes.
it's great. I love it. And one more thing, the message app. That's the way I
Mm-hmm.
communicate with loved ones and friends and family and my partner.
Okay.
And then of course the phone app. I mean, my
Okay.
phone would be without the phone app.
Oh, right. We
Uh,
sometimes forget it is actually a telephone, right?
right. So if we want to just like pass on that, then I would have to say Safari. So I could always stay connected to the web. I could use that to check my emails and visit websites and things of that nature.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you for sharing. Can I get one more, maybe one more person that wants to share why they picked the three they picked?
Hi, I'll share.
Oh, great. Thank
My
you.
my name is Markia Green. I'm not sure if you can see me or not, but I'm on mute, so I know you can hear me.
Yes, I
Um,
can. Thank you,
so
Markia.
I was the one who chose to keep Wave, which is my invoicing system for my businesses. It allows me to send out invoices at a drop of a dime, which is how I make my money.
Yes.
And then I chose to keep my banking system because it allows me to see transactions coming in and out for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else I feel like you could just do via the phone already, and it's not necessarily apps. So yeah, mine was mainly around my businesses.
Okay, good, good. Thank you. Thanks everyone for sharing. That was just something I found just to be just kind of an interesting way to get to know like kind of what systems people rely on. And for me, it makes me question all those other apps on my phone that I scroll through that I probably don't use. So maybe I'll clean up and get some ideas from you all of which ones I should keep. All right. Thank you all for participating. Go back to the presentation. All right, so thank you for the interaction. Again, this is going to be like a working session. So I really would appreciate you guys sharing, kind of sharing your experiences where you are in your businesses as it applies to what we're going to talk about today, which is again, the playbook. And so I've seen already that, football season is among us already, right? And so anyone come off of mute, tell me when you hear or think about a playbook, what comes to mind? You can put it in the chat as well. I can see the chat. I don't know why I can't see you all though. Planning. Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Planning. So even in the realm of sports and football, right? It's planning, playbook. That's basically it. What else? Outline, an outline. Thank you. A schedule. Right, good. The protocols. Love it. Thank you all. So yeah, all of those things, adjustments, right? So when we talk about a playbook in business, a series of strategies for certain situations, yes, you guys have it. So you guys understand exactly what a playbook is, but I'm not sure if you know how you can convert those concepts into one page for your business, right? And so that's what we're going to spend the first part of our time together today talking about. So when you think about a playbook, mapping out the win, I love that. I love that. Yes, all of those things. So when we think about a playbook, we really want to think about answering 6 very critical questions about our business. Okay, the first one is why do we exist? And that sometimes could be called a vision statement. The second one, how do we behave? What are our values? And so when we think about our values, I want us to think about those values that are unique to our company and unique to us as business owners and unique to our brand. So I know that I think most of us here are people of integrity, people that are honest, we're truthful, we, try to, do the right thing for our customers. I consider those things pay to play values, right? So you're not even going to get in the door without those are just assumed, right? And again, you can't assume that about everyone, but for the case of developing your playbook, I want you to think about things that are really just unique to your business in terms of the values. And then what do we do? That is also known as like your mission statement. So you have your vision statement, but your mission statement is going to tell you exactly how you're going to achieve your vision. And then how will you succeed? I think someone put in the chat, they mentioned strategy. Will I be sending out a slide deck? Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson, I definitely will. How will you succeed? What's your strategy? What are the differentiators? What makes you different from your competitors? What are you going to use to create that competitive advantage? And then this number 5, I think, is a very important and will also lead us into the planning process that we'll talk about. So what is important right now? What is important right now? And that needs to be one single priority, right? So I know as business owners, people that have lives, maybe have families, just have other interests, there are a lot of things that are important. But when we think about your playbook, we want to identify one single priority that you can focus on. And then the number 6, who will do what? And that's the roles. And okay, I see that, Marquia, growth, right? So we're going to get to that. Keep that right there. And who will do what? And I know as solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people that are just a one man or one person show, that could just be you. But even start thinking through as your business grows, what are the roles that you would want to fill and what would be the priority of those roles? It's just me, myself. I have a bookkeeper, which I think is just an amazing investment to make for your business. It's very affordable. I only have her like work with me quarterly, and it has probably been one of the best investments I've made in my business, especially here being a DC business owner. If you all, I'm sure you already know, between licensing fees, things with taxes, there's so many things that you need to be caught up on or be abreast of, that it's really helpful to have someone else having eyes, because there's just so much. And as one person, it's difficult to keep track of everything. So those are the 6 questions. Before we move on, do we have any comments or questions about the 6 questions before we go to an example? No, we're all good? All right. So I mentioned earlier about the book, The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. And this is an example of a one-page playbook that he gives on this consulting organization, so Lighthouse Consulting, right? And so we see here, why did they exist? They exist because we believe the world needs more great leaders. How do we behave? So remember, we talked about this being about your values. And see, I want you to notice how specific and unique the values that they call out. We behave with passion, humility, and emotional intelligence. So this is not just going to be important for you to be able to kind of articulate for yourself, but when you start thinking about people that you want to partner with, when you start thinking about people that you want to serve and your customers and the type of business that you want to go after, when you have these values laid out, it's very easy to be able to discern, okay, if this person that I'm thinking about bringing on board, or this person I'm thinking about doing business with, if these are our values, it kind of gives you something to like evaluate like your partnerships. And so I like here that they behave with passion, humility, and emotional intelligence. And so they said they exist because the world needs more great leaders. And then what do we do? So again, that's the mission statement. Okay, I saw the comment there. I want you to definitely repeat it or come off of mute 1 second, because so the chat is a little weird because it comes up and then it goes away. So I want to make sure that I am able. And Javier, you can let me know too as well if there's a question that I'm missing. I want to make sure that I capture any questions. So I'll take a question after I go through the rest of these. So yeah, so what do we do? That's the mission statement, right? So they said, why do we exist, which is kind of their vision. They believe the world needs more great leaders. So how are they going to achieve that? We provide services and resources for leaders who want to make their organizations more effective. And then the next part is their strategy or their differentiator. What sets them apart from their competition? We will differentiate ourselves by providing extremely high-touch service, staying relatively small, and protecting our unique culture and leveraging the ideas of world-class subject matter experts. And then that 5th question, remember, was that one singular goal. What is most important right now? And so for them, they decided that the most important thing was to expand their consulting practice. And so once they've identified that, then they're going to say, okay, what are the ways that they can do that? So under that, you see their objectives: hire more great consultants, increase advertising for consulting, and then solicit more referrals from previous clients. So once they've identified their objectives, there has to be a way to make sure that you're achieving them, right? So it's wonderful to have these objectives, but how are you checking in to make sure that you're on the right track if you're not measuring them? So these standard operating procedures, you also may hear of them referred to as KPIs, which are key performance indicators. In the case of Lighthouse Consulting, it's revenue, client satisfaction, expenses, and client retention. And then other areas that they want to focus on is their staff morale, how they have leads coming into the organization, and then how strong their pipeline is. So how strong their new potential work is coming in. So this is basically it. This is a one-page playbook, right, that you can use for your company, answering those 6 questions, outlining that one important priority, and then how you would go about getting there. And so we're going to talk. I want to pause right there because I've said a lot, and I definitely saw some questions in the chat. So if you can come off mute, that's probably wonderful. If you can, I will try to navigate to the chat, but it's just a little bit of a challenge when I'm sharing the screen.
And for those of you who want to unmute, you would need to raise your hand so I can unmute you.
And Javier, if you saw anything in the chat, if you can let me know. I'm just not able to fully see it unless I'm just not having the right view here.
Yep, sure.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I may have found it. Oh, okay. Oh, I see it now. Okay. Would those also be considered your business core values? Absolutely. Yes, they would be. Yes. So I think the main thing that I wanted to emphasize about the values is just making sure that they are values that are unique to your company and to you and to your brand, right? All right. So good. I think I can see the chat now. All right. So here's the one-page example. And so from those objectives, this is where we can start thinking about goals, right? And so if you've done anything around goal setting, there is an acronym that you hear often associated with setting goals. Anyone tell me what that is? Put it in chat, come off mute, put your hand up. I think that's what you're supposed to do if you want to come off mute. But if you put it in the chat, I can see the chat now. So it's an acronym that is associated with goal setting. Anyone have an idea? No one. All right.
Don, there are a couple of comments there in the
Oh,
chat. Yeah, a couple mentioned SWOT.
yes, y'all. Well,
Right?
I thought I could see him, but I can't. Okay, now I see him. Yes. Okay, SWOT, that's a strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. That, yes, I've heard that as well. SMART, yep, SMART goals. Yes, yes, yes. So yes, you hear about SMART goals. And so I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on that and call them smarter goals, right? So when you hear about SMART goals, they're saying your goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. I think especially the time bound one, I think a lot of times we'll set goals for personally or for our businesses, but we don't have a time associated with them, right? And sometimes they're not specific, they're not measurable. But the E in the smarter is it should be exciting, right? It should be exciting and it should be a little risky, right? And so for as we start thinking about your business and your business goals, and specifically the example we just had with Lighthouse Consulting, we want to take some of those objectives and make them smarter goals, right? And so I'm going to go back. Oh, and I also want to talk about the fact I know that we are in a digital age. We started off this presentation talking about our apps and the 3 apps that we want to keep. We do a lot of things digitally and it saves so much time. But I'm convinced that there are some things that are still really well done if they're written down. And one of them is writing your goals down. I personally use a paper planner. I also do use my phone. So I use my phone calendar as well. But I do try to write things down. And I just included a statistic here by Dr. Gail Matthews. She's a psychology professor at Dominican University in California. She did a study on goal setting with 267 participants. And she found that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. So just the fact of writing down your goals makes you 42% more likely to achieve them. And so I just want you to think about that as you are continuing to work on your business and setting the path and the strategies and the things that you want to achieve, just the power of writing those goals down. All right, so we're going to go back to Lighthouse Consulting, and we're going to look at those objectives that they set and see if we can turn them into smarter goals, right? So let's see. Oops, wrong way. Now I'm going the wrong way. All right. So remember their objectives, which we're going to translate these into goals, is to hire more great consultants, increase advertising for consulting, and solicit more referrals from previous clients. Does someone want to take a shot at making hire more great consultants a smart or a smarter goal? I think right now I can see the chat. I got it open. If you want to put your hand up and come off of mute, anyone just want to take a try at turning hire more great consultants into a smart or smarter goal? Okay. So Michael says hire a specific number of consultants. Yes, because again, that S in the smarter is specific, right? So hire a specific number of consultants. So what else? So that's measurable. So the fact that we have a number, that will be measurable. It's attainable. It's realistic. What about the T, right? The time bound. Okay. Okay, increase the budget. So again, we're going to try to make them smarter, right? So you're saying, and Mr. Jenkins, if you can come off mute, if you want to, or just tell me in the chat a little bit more about increasing the budget. I think you're saying hire more great if you increase the budget, you can hire more great consultants. I think that's what I'm understanding. Is that right? Okay. That's correct. Okay. Yes. Yes. So those are some tactical things, right? And so when we're thinking about these objectives, we want to hire more great consultants, acquire new more contracts, and let me move my chat over so I can see it. Set a deadline. Yes, time bound. Yep. Acquire more contracts and set a deadline. So you guys get the gist of this, right? And so what we want to do is make sure that the objectives, we want to turn those into actual goals and using that smarter framework, right? And so I'll just show you because I do want to leave some time for anybody who wants to try to just share maybe one of their, not one of their one specific goal that they have for their business. And maybe we can talk briefly about some objectives, some SMART goals for that. So for this Lighthouse Consulting, here are 3 SMART goals, right? Based on the objectives that they had. So for 2025, again, we're building on the playbook, right? So we have the 1-page playbook, and now we're going to create the 1-year plan for the business, right? And so based on the one thing that they identified, which is they wanted to, grow their consulting practice, here are 3 goals, right, for 2025 for the year. They can hire 5 more, not just consultants, 5 more experienced consultants by Q2. They can increase advertising for consulting by 25% in Q1. And then instead of just saying solicit referrals from previous clients, they're going to solicit referrals from 20 previous clients by Q3. Does everyone see how that works? So we had the playbook. We, laid out our mission, vision, values, our one question. From the one question, we created like those 3 objectives, and now we have 3 goals that we can focus on for the year. I'm going to stop there. Does anyone have any questions? Or comments? Anyone currently doing something similar in their business now already? You're planning. Okay, great. Working on this. Okay, you're working on this. Wonderful. And so those of you that haven't started thinking about this, again, hopefully this again will give you a framework to start thinking through. I know how it is in the early stages of business. You know, you're trying to grow. And again, I think I saw that in the chat, right? And so when we think about grow, like what specifically, how do you want to grow? What's your revenue target, right? Once you've decided on your revenue target, how are you going to get there? What are the different ways that you can achieve your revenue target? What mechanisms do you have in your business to check in, right? To check in to make sure that you're going in the right direction and you're working on the right things that are going to get you there. I think again, as a fellow small business owner, I think it's so tempting sometimes to spend time. We're all I'm also trying to stop using the word busy, right? We all have very full lives. And I think sometimes it is easy to think about the things we can cross off our list. You know, okay, I can do this real quick. I can do this real quick. And what we end up doing is spending a lot of time on low impact activities, right? Whereas sometimes if we just carved out a little extra time for some higher impact activities. Again, I can't say enough about what DC has to offer in terms of opportunities to do business, getting your CBE certification, those types of things that may take a little bit of time, maybe away from you actually working on your business, working in your business working in your business, but it can be a high leverage activity that can actually provide more growth for your business. So again, I just want you to think about just how we're spending our time. I know it happens to me often. And so I'm very passionate about planning. If you can't tell already, it has been very helpful in goal setting for me. So we're going to continue this conversation and talk a little bit about how do we do this? Once we have our playbook, we've identified our 3 objectives for the year. And you may think that this is 3 goals, like that's not a lot, but it is, right? When you think about what's involved in these goals, if you break that down and think about, and again, this is just one aspect of your life as a business owner. If you're anything like me and most other business owners, we're kind of high achievers. We're usually involved in our community. So there are other things, and I think that's another thing I'm very passionate about is making sure that we're making space in our lives to just live. I'm not a proponent of the hustle and grind culture. I think that there are ways that we can work in a very smart way so that we can make room for other things in our lives and other things that make us who we are, right? It's not just about work. So I think focusing on 2 or 3 goals for the year for your business is more than enough, considering that you also will have personal goals for yourself as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about like putting this into action. What does this look like kind of day to day? And then I want to make sure to leave some time for anyone who wants to just share some ideas, or maybe we can talk through together what this could look like for you in your particular business. All right, so we are going into Q4. Unbelievable. It's almost the last quarter of the year. So we have we're at the end of August. We have all of September, and then Q4 starts on October 1st. So when we think about the fourth quarter and your business, think about 3 things that you would want to accomplish in your business for the last quarter. Now, I know I already said that we only have 3 things for the year, but for the purposes of this example, these can be like, 2 business things and maybe 1 personal thing. Oh, somebody wants to unmute. Okay, let me see here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Javier. So we're going to walk through what that will look like. So we're going into Q4. We're thinking about, we got, 2 business goals, 1 personal goal. Daily rituals. Again, these are things that you probably already do, but you may have not taken the time to really write them down and to really see like what that looks like in terms of how you're spending your day. So think about, can someone in the chat tell me something that they do like every single day? So maybe outside of your hygiene stuff, which I'm hopeful that we all do that. What is a morning ritual that you have? You can raise your hand to come off mute or just put it in the chat. I really can see this time. What is something that you do every morning? Oh, meditate, quiet time. Okay. Uh-huh. Yep. I meditate every morning before getting started. Drink water. Love it. Yes, all of those things. Anyone else? So I think, we all have, we may not call them rituals, but it's a routine, right? I think that one really good way to start to implement like your goals is to really solidify your routines, right? And so thinking about what do you do in the morning? What does your morning look like? You're meditating, drinking water, reading, going, working out, going to the gym. I want to encourage folks, I know as hard as it may be, to try not to grab your phone, first thing in the morning, right? When you think about how you want to start your day, I think it's really important to just kind of set your day at a pace that makes it more likely that you'll kind of stay on track and be positive. So your daily rituals, you have those in the morning. Also, you have a workday ritual, right? How you start up your workday. You check your email, maybe respond to messages, maybe check in on social media real quickly, look at your goals for the day. Again, you've written them down, right? Because you make calls in the morning, Lloyd. You've written down your goals, right? And so because we're going to be 42% more likely to achieve them, now we're going to look at them each day. When we start our day, we're going to look at those goals. And from those goals, we're going to think about what, 2 or 3 activities can I do today to tee me up to achieve my goals. And so we're going to do that. And then have an evening ritual, right? How do you shut down? Then I said, okay, you make calls, start your social media promo posts. You guys, okay, I can't wait. I want to hear more about your business. So I want to make sure I'm going to get through this and then I want to open it up so we can talk more about what you're working on and maybe like how we can maybe discuss like some things that you can target over the next for Q4. So and in the evening. So I think it's important. This particular model actually has you write out the time. I know for me, I didn't realize how much time my morning ritual was until I wrote down how much time I was spending doing everything. And it honestly, which includes a walk to and from the gym and a workout and meditation and reading and all of those things. It was like 2 hours. And so I was wondering why sometimes it seemed like I wasn't getting my day started like at the time that I wanted to, but I hadn't tracked like everything that I was doing in the morning. And it's okay. I haven't changed anything, but it has made me realize I need to go to bed early. So I need to go to bed early and so that I can wake up in time. And I'll talk more about that in a minute when we talk about your ideal week. So again, same thing for the evening. What are you going to do in the evening? What does that look like? And it may seem elementary, like I already do these things. What's the purpose of me writing them down? But I think until you see how much time, like what and what you're doing in the evening, and then maybe some of the things that you might want to change. If you realize that you're working until 9 o'clock every night, maybe that's not something that you want to continue to do. And then how that's the evening after actually it goes workday startup and then workday shutdown. What do you do to shut down your workday? Empty your email box. I'm a email, what do you call it? Like I'm a email zero person. So I like to have my email inbox at 0. And so I'll talk about that in a little bit too. So getting your email emptied out, making sure that you've looked at your calendar for the next day. I can't tell you how when I don't do that, if there's a one-off, I try to keep my schedule pretty much routine so that I know what I'm doing most days. And if I don't check my calendar and that one-off meeting that I'd never schedule on a Friday happens. So again, so this could be like a workday shutdown. So again, it's very helpful just to pull these things out. one, to just be able to identify what you're doing and maybe how you might want to change, but then also to see how much time these things could be taking. All right, we're going to keep going, then I want to make sure that we have some time to talk about it. Oops. So this is so I love this, the ideal week, right? So we talked about what you do each day, right? From your when you get up in the morning to how you start your workday, how you end your workday, and how you end your evening. But what about your ideal week? So if you, and I get it, everyone doesn't have complete control of their schedule right now. Even as a business owner, you may not have complete control of your schedule. But I like the concept of an ideal week to say, you know, all things, if ideal, and it may, even if it doesn't happen, at least you have created an ideal or something to work towards. So for your ideal week, ideally, what would you like to your Monday through Saturday or Sunday to look like? Here's an example here. It has like exercise in the morning, do your morning ritual, do your workday startup, and then you see on the weekends, it has like, you know, they don't do anything. They're like more family time. So I like to think of, they use these terms like on stage, backstage, and off stage. And also too, you see on this particular person's example, they have their high energy activities at the top of the day and the low energy activities at the bottom of the day. So this is going to be different for everyone. But again, tying this back to setting your goals and looking at when are you going to put the time in to work on the goals that you've already identified that are important. And I like the ideal week. It has helped me to just really refine like when I'm going to work on my business, when are the times that I'm going to be available. You know, again, I still have one child at home. You know, I have community commitments. Again, I have a husband. So there are particular times and days that I want to make sure that I'm blocked off. And again, the key word is ideal. So it doesn't mean that it's going to happen every week. So for example, for me, I don't do meetings on Monday. Unless absolutely necessary, I don't schedule any meetings on Monday. Also, I try not to do it on Friday either. I think about meetings as especially depending on the type of meeting, they're more of the low energy type of activities for me. So I like to do all of my meetings in the afternoon. And quite honestly, if I can, I really would like to only schedule meetings between Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon. So again, this is going to be different for everyone, but I think it is something good to think through, even if you're not at a point where you can kind of dictate your whole schedule. But there are so many things that you can take ownership for, even if you're you know, still working a full-time job and working your business, you know, being able to map out when are you going to work on your business. I know I like to use Saturday as a catch-up day for work, up to a certain time for a few hours on Saturday. So again, this is just a great exercise to just think through. Oh, and I mentioned the on stage, backstage, and off stage. So on stage are like days that you'd want to be able to engage with your customers. So those are the days that you might go to meetings or try to like you know, meet with customers. Off stage are the days that you are off, like you're not working at all. But the backstage days are days maybe that you have administrative things happening. I know for me, I try to on Wednesdays, that's my day to check my bank account, my personal and my business bank account, keep up with anything that I might need to do in terms of money with the DC tax. Those I try to do that on one day. So it's been helpful for me. So hopefully it's something that you would consider as well. All right. I'm going to go through these and then I want to open it up for some conversations. So here are just a couple of things that I have found to be helpful, you know, in my journey as an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur who's really trying to, oh, I'm sorry, Maki, see your message. You say, I find it very difficult to set a day-to-day or even a weekly schedule. I currently work on building, growing, but talking to my clients requires a lot of time. Yep. I see that. I can understand that, but I think sometimes you would be surprised as to like how how responsive people will be when you just tell them your availability. And so, Arkia, I want us to chat a little bit more about that. I'm going to finish this and then I want to open it up and maybe we can just brainstorm about how maybe you can consider how to implement something similar, even if you can't do it fully, maybe even just one day, right? So here are some things that have helped me as, again, I'm striving to be a business owner who creates a business that's sustainable. I think I mentioned before that I'm not a fan of the hustle culture. I just don't think that it's something that you can maintain. You know, you're going to crash and burn at some point. So why not try to build your business in a sustainable way, making smart decisions, using your time wisely. And here are just a couple of books and resources that have been very helpful to me. I mentioned the zero inbox system that I use. It's the stack method. You can Google that. It's basically you set your email up with a couple of folders, and as you go through emails, you put them in the correct folders. You get your emails down to zero, and then you set time to like when you would process your emails. I'm also trying to get better about how often I check email. Based on the type of work that I do, I don't need to check my email every hour or two. I'd love to get to the point where I check my email in the morning and then around 4, but I'm not there yet. The 12-week year, we talked a lot about the quarter, fourth quarter coming up. The 12-week year is a book that tells you how you can get more done in 12 weeks than most people do in 12 months. It used the premise that when you think about New Year's resolutions, so many people set what they're going to do in January 1st. I'm going to, I'm going to start my business, or I'm going to, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do all of these things. And the majority of the people don't achieve that. And a lot of the reason is because 12 months is a long runway for you to think. And so if you're anything like me, you're like, okay, this is my goal on January 1st. February comes, you're like, you know what? It's February, but you know what? I still got, 10 more months. And then the months keep going on and on. So what the 12-week year does is it creates urgency by only giving you 3 months to achieve your goals, right? So you identify your goals, and then there's a 12-week system, basically just getting really focused on the activities that you need to do each day to achieve your goals. So I recommend that book, as well as Facts, places urgency on your goals. Absolutely. Urgency on your goals. When you have a year, that urgency is definitely not there. Atomic Habits, love that as well. Again, thinking about those rituals. I know for me, trying to drink more water, just also trying to do different things in my business. Atomic Habits is a great way of taking things that you already are doing and then habit stacking, doing things. Let's say, I think someone mentioned if you are already meditating and you want to start reading as well. So then you say, okay, after I meditate, I'm going to read 10 pages, right? So it's just an idea of habit stacking. I love that book. Miracle Morning, based on the premise of savers. This guy, he interviewed several successful people and found the things that they started their day with that were most common. And for most of them, it was having this acronym is called savers. So silence, some type of either prayer or meditation, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So that would be journaling. So I love that. That's pretty much how I start my days, and I can tell you it has made a significant difference in my life. So those are my tools, and I know we have a few minutes. I know I've said a lot. I hope it's been helpful. Please in the chat, please let me know if you have any questions, as well as if anybody wants to share maybe one goal that they have for the fourth quarter, and maybe we can chat about like how can we make that a SMART goal? What are some key activities that you need to think through, and then maybe how some of what we've discussed today might be helpful. Okay. Lloyd, you're going to come off mute?
Lloyd, I just unmuted you, so you can go ahead and say.
While we're waiting, I will just say we can really remember the power of 3, right? I talked about the fact that really, 3 goals, 3 business goals for a year, maybe 4. Again, I think you can want to make room for your own personal goals, but just think about the number 3. You want to have no more than 3 goals for the quarter. you want to have 3 goals weekly and then 3 daily. We didn't talk about the weekly preview. I'll tell you about that quickly. At the end of each week, you want to list your wins. You want to think, okay, how well did I do on the goals that I had for the week? How close did I come to achieving them? What worked? What didn't work? And then what am I going to do differently? How are you going to do some things to take care of yourself in the next coming week? How are you going to eat better? Take care of yourself, exercise better, people, relationships, people you want to connect with, and then what are your goals for the next week? So you want to do that each week. And so there is a slide in here. I didn't show up, but it will be in the packet that kind of walks you through this idea of a weekly preview. Again, it's super helpful to keep you and your goals on track. Lloyd, you
I was,
still there?
yep, I'm here.
Okay,
Outs
great.
Outstanding. By the way, great presentation. I love this. One of the goals that I want to achieve this quarter coming up is to post on social media more.
Okay.
So that's something that is there. It's not priority one, but
Yeah.
however it is top 5, and
Okay.
it's slowly coming to priority one because I'm knocking off priority ones and twos and threes. But the thing is, I'm investing my time in studying Buffer and Hootsuite and these applications that can make it easy to automate
Yeah.
posting. I'm looking at what times to post. Where's my demographics? Um, where are my target audience, which is LinkedIn, really.
Mm-hmm.
Going on LinkedIn, learn. I'm like a LinkedIn adverse person.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with LinkedIn. I
Sure.
stayed away from LinkedIn by any means. I mean, I have a profile, but I have never really engaged in it. And now it's like, okay, it's been like 20 years and I got to figure this thing out. So I do lean on others who
Okay.
are more versed in LinkedIn
Yeah.
to help me out. But yeah, that's a goal that I want. I want to post more on LinkedIn and I want to post more on Facebook and I want to I just want to utilize the social media tools that I have in front of me.
Okay. So Lloyd, can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Oh, sure. So my business name is Laguan.
Okay.
We're CBE located in Washington, D.C. We deal with post-construction, janitorial services, and final cleanup.
Okay. Okay, great.
Right, right. So we're mainly B2B.
All right.
So, I'm thinking, hey, let's post to folks that are contractors, like Hamill and the people that we correspond with, and maybe build our presence on LinkedIn so that when we expand and maybe after 2 years we want to expand to another state or
Yeah.
city, we have some type of credibility with our community.
Okay. Okay, great. And so I love that you've articulated your goal. And so again, remembering that smarter framework. So if we're thinking about Q4, right? So
Mhm.
what can we say realistically? So maybe a
Okay.
goal could be how often would you want to post on LinkedIn in
Every
Q4? Every day? Every
every day, every day.
every okay, so
So I
so
really want
that
to do
that
every
goes
day.
to our realistic R, right? Or
Right.
is that something? So again, I think you are at least you've identified what you want to do and then thinking through like what will get you to that point, right? So in order to post every day, you gotta have content. Do you have your content already developed of
Yes.
what you're gonna post? Okay, good. Okay, you
Yes.
got your stuff.
So
Okay.
so well and it's so this is my plan. I'm gonna do a theme every day. Like I, well, you know what? I had it written down for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, like Focus Friday.
Hmm.
Um, you know, something Wednesday, begin with a W, and like probably something like Motivational Monday, but not Motivational Monday. But anyway,
Right.
something pertaining to the how cleanliness helps with mental health, sanity, just self-care, more productivity, uh, you know, benefiting the morale of your employees or the ambience of your workspace.
Okay.
Just post those things out. Maybe some statistics and nice visuals, And I know that I have used Meta Business Suite before. So I
Okay.
have scheduled posts at
Mm-hmm.
certain times of the
Yes.
day on certain days of the week. So I know I can do that. And it take about an hour for me to do maybe about 2 weeks worth of
Okay.
posts. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I could dedicate an hour to
Mm-hmm.
do 2 weeks worth of posts.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
that I'm not quite ready yet, just because I'm so busy doing other things. However, I know I have to make time I have to take time to have time. So I'm gonna make time
That's
to
right.
do that, and then I'll make sure I'm consistent. So that's something I
Yeah.
want to do within the next week.
Okay. Okay.
Next week.
Okay, so maybe even looking at that ideal week, right? And to
Mhm.
say, when would you plug that in? When would you do that hour, right? So I think that's the other thing too. We often look at things and we're like, oh, I can do it an hour a week, but then you're like, when? Like thinking about when are
Right.
you going to schedule it, right? When are you going to schedule it at a time that you can actually do it each week? And then also too, I encourage you. I love the enthusiasm, but I know even for me personally, I think if you even just start out, at least for maybe the first for quarter 4, as you're ending this year, maybe say I'm going to do it once a week, right? Just to be consistent. Then you get a rhythm, right? And then you can, as opposed to saying I'm going to post every day and then one opportunity that you don't have to like load your content up, you're kind of going to feel a little bit defeated. So I think maybe starting a little slower and something that you can do at least for the first quarter, and then maybe build up to 2 or 3 times a week or how often you want to do it. I think that might actually be a way also for you to be able to keep the engagement, right? So when we think about the social media, it's definitely putting things out there, but then you're going to have people commenting, and you want to make sure that you're able to respond to folks. And so that's just my little humble input.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it. I will
You're
do.
welcome. You're welcome. Let me see. I see something else in the chat, and I know we're coming up on time. Okay. Oh, great. Social well-being, overall personal care. Oh, wonderful. Good. Um, I know we are getting short on time, so I want to make sure that I share my contact information so we can keep in touch. See there, LinkedIn that you love so much. So we can definitely connect on LinkedIn. Here is my email address. Definitely, we love to keep the conversation going. Again, my name is Dawn Covin with Trusted AdviseHER. I will hang around for a few minutes, Javier. I'm not sure if we have like a
Yeah, definitely. We have a couple of minutes.
okay.
We have, I think, Markia, you can chime in.
Yes. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to kind of chime in on Lloyd because I actually built my business using social media for the most part. What I do is event planning. I specialize in balloon decor. Or I call it balloon artistry. So I'm the person that shows up on the scene and build out your arches, your centerpieces, your columns, and things like that. Um, and so when you're talking about like building content, it really is important to be consistent. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get your analytics. Because you were talking about you watching your analytics, but if you haven't posted, you really don't have any. And it takes a little bit of time to build that out. But as far as like what I have planned for fourth quarter,
Yes.
is my goal is to produce my own balloons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that I could start to build another retail aspect of the business and keep as much revenue in house as possible.
Absolutely. And so you've probably already know what that entails, right? Right. And so breaking that down into what does that look like for, let's say, for the first month. So if we're thinking about quarter 4, making your own balloons, like you have to get a supply, like what are the things that you have to research? Is there research that you have to do? If there any like I don't know, comparison with providers. Like, I just think about like, that's a great goal, but like, let's think about what is it, how can we make that a smarter goal, right? So
Right.
you want to have that done by the end of Q4?
Yeah, I've actually already done the research.
Good.
There's a couple companies that do white labeling, in which I can get
Awesome.
my own logo and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
on the balloons and do it that way. But I'll be using the same companies that I currently purchase. So I know the quality of the balloons and how they blow up and, all those good things. So I've done the work already. I just haven't had the time because I am currently working in the business and on the business at the same time. I don't have
Yeah.
anybody else. It's just me.
I understand. I understand. But I think sometimes, and again, I think congratulations, first of all, because having, a full schedule like that means that you're doing well. So I want to encourage you with that. But yeah, taking maybe a day or so, just, even if you have to say no to one thing to be able to possibly, build your business and to scale it even more quicker, that might be a decision you might just have to make. And maybe that's not a decision you can make today, but thinking through that, when can you pause
My
to,
clothes are still in
and then
boxes.
looking at your ideal week, right? When could you possibly, move things around so that you could have time to work on your business? But you're
I,
doing a great job. Congratulations.
thank you so much.
And we'll have one more, Balin.
Hello, it's Balin again. Thank you so much, Ms. Dawn, for this time. This has really helped a lot because I
you.
have been all over the place. And Markia, I want to thank you for sharing your experience because I was going to ask the both of you, how do you do it? Because I am a single mother trying to keep up with everything and do everything. But just listening to how you're explaining how self-care is so important and set those goals to take that time away to focus on you. We may hear I'm the type of person that I will listen, yes I will, but then I get distracted and I get caught up in other things. When I do that, I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. I want to keep going. I want to keep going. And then I burn myself out.
Mm-hmm.
Like days with no sleep, like burnt out. And that is not healthy at all. So what I'm trying to work on I'm trying to have my goals set quarterly. When I try to do them longer, like every 6 months, I noticed that there are multiple gaps that need to be filled. So I want to be in full compliance by the end of Q4. Like
Okay.
I have to be in full compliance. That's just how I feel. That's what I want to do. That's just what it is. And then at least by Q2, I want to have a team because I'm by myself.
Okay.
So I want to have a team that I can trust, a small team,
Sure.
but that team can help me scale
Yeah.
because at least by 2026, I want to have a presence overseas. So I see it, but I have to find that time for myself. And like when Miss Marquia said, well, she's done the research, she's did everything she can, but where's that time? And I feel like when we don't put time for ourselves, we don't really have time to think. We're trying to do everything. And I'm learning that it doesn't hurt to delegate tasks
Mhm.
because now I'm asking my little sister to look up stuff for me.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank you guys for sharing this because it is a roller coaster. It
Yeah.
really is.
It is. It is. And wishing you so much success. And would definitely please connect with me on LinkedIn because I want to hear more about your business. Again,
Okay.
because I'm a mom, have a passion for, moms and all that we try to do as business owners as well. So would love to connect and maybe keep the conversation going. But I think, part of it is just being realistic and setting good boundaries, just for yourself and for your own, mental health and your family as well. Like again, the business is going to be here, but we want to make sure that we're like holistic in our existence. So,
Agreed. Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Javier. Thank you so much, DSLBD, for this opportunity. Thank you all for your amazing engagement. It was just a pleasure. Again, wish we had more time. I look forward to connecting with you all on LinkedIn. So I think I have that here. You can QR code, or I think there's also a link there as well.
Thank you,
And I wish you
Dawn.
guys much success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, for that excellent presentation. And yeah, well, I have one saying is, what's the best way to eat an apple?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yep. So
Right.
definitely, yeah. So thank you everyone for attending the of the first presentation that we have for the Speakers Bureau. The first one, how to use a one-page playbook to develop a one-year plan for your business. I'll share the link for the rest of the series if you have not registered in the chat here. But we have a slate of webinars that you can feel free to register, and then you'll have we'll have the dates and times there. So with that, I'll stop the recording.